Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are fine, doing well, and I hope all of you are hungry because today I'll be giving you the recipe for success of your Android development. I just want to give you a quick information about myself first. I'm Sarp Remzi V1. I'm a student at the Manisa University. I'm a LSA certified Android expert, which is LinkedIn skill assessment. I'm a local Compose Cap instructor for Manisa University again. I'm also a public speaker on Android-related topics on events such as DevFest, Android Worldwide, and obviously at scale conferences. You can check about me more on my social accounts, LinkedIn, GitHub, and Medium. Now, I want to talk about my inspirations of life. I think the best way to solve our problems is to overcome our handicaps. For example, when I was a kid, I wanted to become a chef, but I was too afraid to cut my fingers, so I never became a chef. I mean, I don't even use knife on my daily life properly. But this man right here, who is Mehmet Yalçınkaya, an executive chef for various Turkish restaurants and hotels, lost three of his fingers when he was a kid, yet he became successful in life. Or you can just think about yourself. You might have a lot of pressure on you, especially when it comes to deadline day or something, or creating better ideas. But the best way to overcome our problems is to first overcome our handicaps of creating better things in our lives. And by that, development or cooking. So let's talk about a bigger solution for our lives, the biggest solution of hunger in the primal world, bread. Bread is the biggest solution of hunger because for ages, bread kept our stomach full. And this, as the civilization goes by, the breads went by. We created baguette, we created hot dog buns for hot dogs, obviously. And as civilization goes by, ourselves developed too. We created different kinds of things. We created machines, we created our nowadays electronic devices, and we created electronic devices, we created mobile phones, we created great mobile applications for our phones, we created Instagram, we created Snapchat to create a better social interaction for all of us. And now here we are talking about the best way to develop our applications. And now let's talk about the menu. Shall we get into the menu? Here we have as first course design patterns, and then we'll be talking about architectural models as the main course. And last but not least, chef's recommendation by yours truly, the approaches. Now, in the first course, we have factory, adapter, injector, repository, singleton, and publisher. First, factory. Factory is actually an interface to create products from given spatialities, just like adding your ingredients into a bowl and creating a mixture of it. As you can see from the example here we have the animal interface as the factory itself. Here we have our products as dogs, cats. Dog goes woof and cat goes meow. And by that, we have given them the spatialities of it using the class animal factory. And we use them, our main method, to how does dog go or how does the cat go. And the second one, the adapter. Adapter is actually a bridge between incompatible services and client interfaces. Just like bringing the new system into the old system to create a better solution. Just like adding flour to your bread mixture. Using a better flour or using more flour to create a better bread out of it from the older bread you made. Here we have the example here, the new system as the interface. We have the old system as the class. Old system actually exists, but it's not comparable with the new system. But using the interface out of it, we adapted out of it, and using the main method, we combined them so that we created a better solution. Now here we have the injector. You know it as the dependency injection itself also. Here we have as the injector. Injector actually provides implementations from service to the client interfaces. Just like adding a taste out of it. Just like adding sugar to the mixture. You don't actually need to use sugar, but if you use sugar, you'll make a great supplement to your bread, you know? As a substance, it creates a better solution. Here we have the example over here. We have the modules, components, and the services over here, and use the inject annotation over there for our network service. And using the creation, we created a request. And so by that, we combined the module and the components to our main activity. Now here we have repository. Repository is actually a bridge between the data source and the business logic. Using queries, persistence, data mapping, and objecting the query, you'll create a better solution between the data and the business logic. Just like adding yeast. Adding yeast to your mixture, it becomes healthier, because you might get bacteria out of it if you don't add any yeast to your mixture. And by adding yeast, you'll create a better solution and you'll make your bread grow up easier. Here we have the data models, the data sources. You can use it remote or local. And here we have the repository, which combines the data source and the actual implementation of how the data source can be used. And using the main methods, you combined the data source, the repository, and also the implementation itself. Now here we have Singleton. Singleton is actually a global access point to use in any parts of your program, just like adding salt to your mixture, your bread mixture. Once you add salt, you can feel the salt anywhere of the bread. But the difference between the salt and the sugar is a substance, but salt is a mineral. So it's much healthier than to use sugar itself. And it's very simple, just like using single. And it's very simple to use Singleton because it's actually a global access point. You can use it as an object, and then you can access it from anywhere of your program. And last, we have the publisher. Now, before I start to talk about the publisher, I just want to say something. You won't be working as basic projects as you will be. Sometimes there'll be so many distributed systems all together. And that's where the publisher steps in. Publisher design pattern is actually a messaging system between the event, the publisher, and the subscriber. A messaging system, the publisher sends a message towards the subscriber, which is the client itself, and then will create a flow, better flow, just like the water flows up. As we consume more water, we'll create a better flow in our body, and obviously making the bread using the good amount of water creates a better flow of the flour itself. It's a big example because it's a big system. It's the big implementation we're working on right here. Here we have the observer, the subject, and we are creating a concrete subject out of it. We're adding observers. We can remove it because we're not creating only one message out of it. We can create lots of kinds of messages so that we can create lots of kinds of observers around it. We can notify them about it, and then using all of it by creating subject and the observer itself, we created a message, just like the new data message over here. Because when you create a new data, you need to notify the observer and the system itself too. Now, here we have, on our main course, we have 4 architectural models, which are model view presenter, model view model, model view intent, and my personal favorite one, clean architecture. Now, when we're talking about model view presenter here, model view presenter works as a system that always works on the update. Model goes update, the view goes update, and the presenter works as a bridge between them. It's like drinking a soup, maybe, you know? You taste the soup, yeah, it tastes good, but it looks like the soup stays the same, but when you look at it, oh, it doesn't look the same, but looks like it does. So until the last drop of it, you always continue to drink the soup. Now, here we have the example. Over here, we have the model, the view, and the presenter talking about the creation of a user named John Doe over here. And then on the main activity, on the creation, we made sure that presenter, the all system combined together, and everything goes on the update, because we're not creating just one user out of it. We'll be creating lots of kinds of users. And here we have the username as given over here as the data. Here we have the model view model. You may think as the same as model view presenter, but it's not. Here on this diagram, the model goes updated, but view does not, because you consume the model, but not the view. This time you're not consuming the view. You're consuming the model itself, just like eating a plate full of pasta, parmigiano. You're eating the pasta, does not look the same, but you're consuming it. You're consuming it until the very last of it, and you know it's gonna end, but it gets the job done. This meal will keep your stomach full for a couple of hours. Here we have the example over here. We have the model, view model, and our main activity as the view out of it. On the view, you were seeing how this thing goes. We created a username again, but we're using live data to create a solution out of it. And then we created our user right over here. And this is model view intent. Model view intent is different between the model view presenter and the model view model itself again. But the biggest difference between them is model view intent creates an intention. It creates an intention. By creating that intention, once the client makes a reaction out of it. So it is the most reactive architectural model of Android, because it manipulates the model, it always creates a new model to display, but using the intent, we created a manipulation, just like eating a plate of a salad, As a salad, a salad won't be the first choose the consumer, but once you taste salad, it goes, yeah, it tastes really good. It tastes really awesome. Then you might want to eat the whole plate out of it because manipulated you. Here we have the example over here. We have the model, the intent, the state. The state and intent is the biggest two changes between the model view presenter and the model view model over here. We have the view model as the class 2 because the model view intent works as an upgrade of model view model. We have the main activity over here, and using the state and intent, we created a reactive solution out of it. And this is my personal favorite, the clean architecture. Clean architecture is an architectural model that combines every kinds of layers all together in a perfect shape. There is devices, DB, framework, UI as a first layer, your controllers, your use cases, your enterprise, all together in a great shape, Just like shooting from direct spot, Yusuf Dikeç did it. Although he got a silver medal out of it, he did a great shot. And just like eating a great slice of cake, this is one of my personal favorites, a burnt Basque cheesecake, because on the very bottom of it has a biscuit layer, on the top has a cream, cheese cream layer out of it, and on the very top it has burnt layer out of it. And by that, it has a great shape. And let's give an example over here. We have our data layer, our domain layer, our presentation layer, and the main activity. Everything goes by in a great flow and a great work. There's data and repository over here. Domain gets everything correctly on the presentation. We make them sure to use the user data pretty well. On the using main activity, we created the best solution out of it. We can make sure that the username is created pretty much. Now, here we have the approaches. My first approach would be use my recommendations as needed, not as necessity. I'm a student. Although I'm a certified expert, I'm a student yet. I have a long way to go through. So I might make mistakes, but I use those methods and I learned them and I used them and they were great. Why not? It won't be great for you too. And second, make it easy to maintain your app and also test your app. You should avoid the over complexity because you might get an easy burnout and you might get problems with dealing with the pressure when it comes to develop your projects. And last but not least, try to obtain lots of recipes in your pocket. No? Get it? Because they're not the only solutions to create better Android applications. There are lots of kinds of design patterns, architectural models. Even you can create your ones to show the Android ecosystem, and then I or any kind of Android developer can use it as well. And my last recommendation, I didn't write it over there. Whatever you do it as your way because no one can know you, no one can make a better solution out of you rather than you. Thanks for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and I hope I did a great talk to you. Thank you. Have a good evening.